Hello, 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 my beautiful people of YouTube. Hello. So today I want to talk about something that I struggle with, and I have made comments about it in many of my videos, but I've never really gone into it. And today, for whatever reason, I feel the need to really talk about it. So here we go. So I'm going to talk about my experience with chronic pain and how it's affected me negatively and, believe it or not, positively. So I'm just going to put out a disclaimer that I don't really like pity. I don't really talk about this too much with many people, go into details too much, other than a need-to-know basis, because I don't like pity, and I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for me, so I don't want other people to feel sorry for me. But that being said, let's talk about it. So I have celiac disease, which is fairly well known now. Back when I started getting very sick when I was a teenager, it was not well known, and it took actually 10 years for me to get a diagnosis. So I was quite ill for a lot of my young life, and then after diagnosis I did get better. But I have so celiac disease basically is an autoimmune reaction to gluten. It causes lots of different problems within the body, lots and lots of different problems if not treated. You guys can do your own research into celiac disease if you're interested and you don't know anything about it. It is a pretty well-known sickness, especially in people with Eastern European ancestry, like myself. Anyway, so I have celiac disease, and celiac disease is very well treated with a strict gluten-free diet, which is also something that's well known and has become a bit trendy recently, in the last 5 or 6 years, maybe more, to become gluten-free because there's a belief that it's healthier for all people. I'm not getting into that because that's a little bit of a rant and an irritation to me. I refer to it as the gluten-free trending and the gluten-free depending, and I would be the depending. But there's a certain percentage of people that, even though they stick to a strict gluten-free diet, do not have healing in their digestive tract and continue to have symptoms, damage, malabsorption, that sort of thing, and the cycles and flares of the disease as if they were still eating gluten. And I happen to be one of those people. Who would have known? Oh, it always, my husband and I always kind of laugh about, like, oh, so there's this rare thing that happens, so of course it's going to happen to me. And I don't take that as like a reward or anything, but it's just one of those things that, like, seems to kind of follow me in my life. If there's something that's a bit of a rarity, well, Joy is going to get it, or Joy is going to have it, whatever. I am a fairly healthy person, but I do struggle with this and deal with chronic pain. I have chronic abdominal pain pretty much every second, every day of my life. It gets better and worse, but it is an underlying, constant, annoying thing. So, what are the bad things about living with chronic pain? There's a list. The major one for me is always fear. Fear and anxiety. And it's fear and anxiety of how much pain am I going to have? Is it going to stop me from what I want to do? If I do this thing, am I going to be able to function the rest of the day? How is today going to go? If I make plans and try to go do something, or have a, like a commitment to somebody. Am I going to have pain and then I'm not going to be able to do it? There is always that fear. Basically every morning, how is my belly going to be today? Are you going to fight me today, belly, or are you going to work with me? That's pretty much it. So there is a constant fear of pain, you know, and I always have pain, but there's a constant fear of that pain becoming more severe for whatever reason it chooses to be more severe. This camera is still bothering me. Let's see, that's not any better, but the other thing that I really struggle with this in the bad section is embarrassment. It's embarrassing to have chronic pain. And there's some bathroom situations that arise from celiac disease when you're having some of the worst symptoms. There's bathroom situations. And that's embarrassing. Everybody uses the bathroom, but for some reason, if you have to go to the bathroom and you're in a public place, or you're at someone's house, or even if someone's over by you or whatever, it's embarrassing, you know, and running full speed to the bathroom, trying to find a bathroom or whatever, you know, it's embarrassing. I also get into the embarrassment of when I have to eat in front of other people, or someone else has provided food for me, or I'm eating in a public setting, because there are certain foods that I cannot eat. And that should be widely accepted, and it is within my family and circle of people that know me well because they're used to me and they know what I eat. But there is a bit of embarrassment for me always when I have to go into a new situation, especially if someone else has prepared the food and I have to ask what's in it. I hate to be like that. I'm constantly apologizing for asking. Because there seems to be, well, for me, someone that is eating a certain way for health reasons, and for health reasons I mean, you know, trying to lose weight or trying to eat better for this, that, and the other thing, you know, trying to be more organic, trying to eat more naturally, trying, you know, keto, low carb, all these things. For me, I don't understand why, but for me, that's almost more excusable, for example, for a vegan or vegetarian to ask what's in the food than for me to ask what's in the food, even though, you know, logically I can say in my mind, I would think I have more of a right to ask, because I'm going to have really bad consequences if I eat something I'm not supposed to, you know? But I don't know, there's this like mix up in my brain that I think, you know, I shouldn't ask. It's embarrassing to ask. It's rude to ask what ingredients are in your dish that you brought. And I have in the past not asked and just assumed that someone's thing that they brought, just upon looking at it, didn't contain anything that I shouldn't eat, and I was sorely mistaken and got very ill. And then I'm embarrassed about that too, because then if they find out that what they made me sick, then they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Joy, and then I'm embarrassed. You know, it's kind of ridiculous. Another thing in the bad category is hypervigilance. Everywhere I go, I need to know where the bathroom is. Everywhere. If there is no bathroom, if we're like, you know, at a baseball game out in a field and there's no bathroom, I am very concerned. I need to know where the bathroom is all the time, everywhere I go. It's almost like as soon as I arrive at a place, a store, anywhere, I need to know where the bathroom is. And I will look for the bathroom, you know, kind of in my mind, just mentally check off, okay, there's the bathroom. And traveling is really an issue for me. I don't really like to travel because of it, because there's times, especially when you're like in airports and flying and stuff, that you don't have easy access to the bathroom because there's not time, or, you know, it's a time where you have to sit down and stuff like that. Or even if you're driving, you know, like, I've had to pull over on the side of the road, and that's really embarrassing, and I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, there's just this hypervigilance of, you know, how I'm feeling, you know, where is the pain in my body? How soon am I going to have to use the bathroom? Where is the bathroom? It's always, yeah, where is the bathroom? Where is the bathroom? Always. There is also the, I can see already this video is going to be long, and we'll see if anybody cares to watch the whole thing. Whatever, doesn't matter. There is also the constant questions from people. Usually it's because of my size. Now, I am a small person. I'm a small person in stature anyway, mostly because, you know, my disease really kicked off when I was in my growing years, and I did not grow really to the full size probably that I should have. So I stayed very small. I don't think I grew much after the age of 12 or 13. We just stayed very small. So I'm a small person, and you know, my genetics are for small people anyway. So I wasn't going to be a large person, but I am a small person, and I'm thin. And there's times that I'm extra thin because whatever, I'm in a flare, you know, my body's rejecting food, I'm in malabsorption mode, and whatever I eat isn't sticking. And, you know, and right now and in the last year or so, I've been a little extra thin, and there's the constant questions about that. Some of them are concerned, you know, are you okay? Are you sick? Are you eating? Are you blah, 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 all those questions. And some of the other ones are people really would like to know what I'm doing to stay so thin, because they want to be thin. And, you know, I get a lot of that question. And then if it's someone I don't know well, I wonder, do I tell them the whole truth, or do I give them half the truth? You know, because they want to know, what do you eat? So, and they want to know, what do you do to stay so thin and fit and blah, blah. They're complimentary questions. I can see that. You know, I can see the, you know, they want to have this look, you know, and yeah. But do I tell them the whole truth? That always depends on whether or not, what their attitude is. If they're coming at me with the, oh, you're so skinny, then I will tell them the whole truth. Well, you know, I'm so skinny because I have a digestive disease that causes me pain every day, and eating is very painful. If they're coming at me with just a genuine curiosity and like a complimentary, then I will be a little bit more straightforward and a little bit more with, you know, like, okay, this is how I eat, this is how I care for myself. But I do have this built-in weight control system. And then some people will get really jealous of that. Oh my goodness, I wish I could have that. No, please, you don't want it. It is not easy. It is painful. It is life-changing, and it does not, yes, I can lose weight very quickly when I am in a sick period, but it is not pleasant. I would much rather have to go exercise and watch what I ate to lose weight than be running to the bathroom and being in pain, you know? I battle between wanting comfort and hating pity. You know, I want people to be concerned when I'm sick. I want people to give me grace when I'm sick, when I don't feel good. I want people, you know, that love me to give me grace for what I can't accomplish and how I feel, and that I need rest and that I need some care. I want that, but I don't want pity. I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, you poor thing. Oh, you poor thing, you poor thing. I don't want that, because I'm not handicapped. I'm not this, you know, this doesn't disable me. I don't want people to feel sorry for me, because like I said before, I don't feel sorry for me. But I do want, you know, people to comfort me and have grace for me in the times that I'm unable to function the way I normally would. And I'm getting a lot better at being able to cancel certain things and having grace for myself and what I can't accomplish, because I used to just push through, and I'm getting too old for that. Loving food and hating eating. That's a big thing I struggle with. I love food. I love the taste of food. I love different foods. I love to see food. I think it's beautiful. I think, you know, you can make, and I love feeding people. I love preparing food for people and watching them enjoy it. It's just that consuming anything causes me pain. So I can make this beautiful thing and watch someone else eat it, but I'm only going to have a little bit because it's going to hurt, you know? And we have culturally, I think everywhere, just as human beings, there is this thing about eating together that is so good. It's so joining, and it's so community and so beautiful, sharing food, sharing a meal, sitting around a table or whatever, and enjoying food together, especially if other people have prepared it and it's like a community thing. There is something so beautiful about that. But I can't always enjoy it because it involves physical pain for me, even if the emotional part of it is good, you know. And then if I can feel and see the people, you know, I can feel their judgment as to how much I'm eating or what I'm eating, it kind of takes away from that. So I do love food, but I hate eating. And I also like know in the back of my mind, like I could easily develop an eating disorder. I could, because I can go very long periods without food easily. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the ability to control that. So I'm always very mindful of that part of my brain that's, you know, wants to tell me to just not eat and see how long you can go. So I know that there is, you know, and it's been there for a long time, just this, yeah, I could easily develop an eating disorder, easily. I end up having a hatred of my body and of my genetics. You know, because of my genetics, my daughter has Crohn's disease. And Crohn's disease is far worse than what I have. And when she was first sick and diagnosed, I went through just an absolute hatred of my genetics that I passed to her, and felt so sad that my tainted DNA affected her for the rest of her life. And, you know, she is very healthy right now, but she is going to go through a lifetime of illness because of my genetics. And I chose to have children, you know, and so, and then, yeah, then there's this hatred of my body. Like, why can't I have a normal body? Why can't I just eat and enjoy food? And why can't I just be normal? You know, why can't I do this, that, and the other thing and be normal? And I hate this body that, God, that you've put me in. I don't love it. I don't want to love it. I don't want to care for it because it's defective. Oh, that's the struggle there. And yeah, and the genetics thing, I've kind of gotten over that. Like, my daughter is good. I mean, she's healthy. You know, there is such good medicine and such good help for people with Crohn's disease. And she's definitely blessed in the way that her disease is well managed, and she hasn't gone through some of the things that other children and other adults with Crohn's disease have gone through. And she is going to have it for the rest of her life. It is a chronic progressive disease, and my tainted DNA gave it to her, but she is good, and she's a strong girl, and she'll be all right, as will I. But moving on to the good side of what chronic pain has brought me. And that sounds like a stretch, you know, to find good things in chronic pain. But the number one thing, or maybe not the number one thing, but the number one thing on my little list here is it made me strong. It made me strong. It gave me an ability to fight. It gave me the willpower to keep going. And what I mean by that is, when I was initially first very ill as a teenager, it put me in bed. It put me in the emergency room. It basically took me out of my life for an entire year where I could not function. And my symptoms have improved in some ways and worsened in others. I got a big pulp truck driving by. Sorry about that noise. But I still have continued to have chronic pain all these years, and I'm 41 now. So that's a lot of years from age 16 or 17 to be like that. But it made me strong. And what I mean by strong is physically strong. Because I can tell you that some of the pain that I get up out of bed, continue to work, that attacks me in the middle of my day, even when I'm doing something like cutting someone's hair, cleaning, just doing whatever, caring for my children. Some of that pain would drop you guys to your knees and I just keep going. There are times that it does drop me and I have to sit down or I have to lay down and curl up a little bit. I have some rescue medications that I can take that I don't currently take, but it made me strong. It made me realize what I could live through. And it's not a life-threatening illness, but sometimes pain makes you think like you're not going to live through this, you know, like, can I live through this much pain? I felt like that with childbirth, but anyway, it made me strong, physically strong and mentally strong, because it's like, Joy, you can do this. Joy, you can push through this. You can keep going, you know, get up. It's okay. You can do it. Go to work, take care of your family, take care of yourself. You're okay. It also gave me a little bit of more of an ability to disconnect from my physical body, because you almost have to. If you live with chronic pain, you almost have to disconnect from your physical body and turn off those pain sensors, or you will not be able to function. So it heightened that ability for me, where I can just kind of check out of this shell in a way. And I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. It gave me a really heightened gift of compassion and mercy for other people that live in pain, because I live in pain. And my son, and I think I mentioned this in a past video, my son, who is now almost 14, when he was little, 6 or 7, he just came out of the blue and said to me today, you know, if your belly didn't hurt all the time, you wouldn't be as nice to people. And when he said that, I just couldn't wrap my head around that. And then I was like, you know what, you're right. If I didn't live with chronic pain, I would not have the compassion and mercy for other people that live in pain that I do. So thank you, God, for that. It forced me to learn nutrition, because I have done everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Every avenue that I could have gone down to try to cure myself, I have done. Medical, alternative medicine, chiropractic, nutritionist, herbalist, naturopath, everything. I have done everything. But it caused me to be deep into research, which, you know, we love our research, about nutrition. So I learned a great deal about nutrition, about how to feed yourself, you know, what to put in, what not to put in. So I have a vast amount of knowledge about nutrition, and that is self-taught stuff. I considered getting some education, some actual formal education in nutrition, but I didn't want to spend the money. So I just did it on my own. So I do know quite a bit about nutrition. I don't always listen to it. If you saw on my Instagram yesterday, I was eating peanut butter pretzels and chocolate chips. Gluten-free pretzels, of course. Not good nutrition there, but I do know quite a bit about it, and when I decide to implement it, which is most of the time, I am fairly good at that. Living with chronic pain forces me to take breaks. And that's good for me, because I would just run myself ragged nonstop, constantly, if I didn't take breaks. So getting stabbed with a knife right under my ribs several times a day forces me to slow down, forces me to think about, what are you doing to your body? You need to rest, you need to sit, you need to stop working so hard. So it also grounds me into reality. Because I have a tendency to be a bit of a daydreamer, to have like this imaginative, lost in my thoughts, lost in my head kind of self. And having a illness that is very physical keeps me in reality, keeps me grounded to what life actually is and how concrete life can be and how physical life can be, rather than just being imaginative and daydreaming all the time and thinking about, you know, the future and 5 years, 10 years from now, and what am I going to do, and how's this going to develop, and all that stuff. It's like my belly says, oh, we're back to right now, Joy. We're back to right now. So yeah, lots of talking about this, and I don't know why I felt the need to talk about this today, but I don't know, maybe somebody needed to hear it. Maybe I needed to talk about it. I have gone through a lot of sadness with this. You know, pain, chronic pain causes different things in your brain, different chemicals in your brain, and depression can come along with that. And just kind of sometimes in the despair of, am I ever going to feel good? Am I ever going to have more than a few hours strung together without pain? You know, can I have a whole day where I can just feel good? And I'm realizing as I get older and it goes longer and I'm not healed, the other effects it's having on my body and how tiring that can be. And the, you know, the cycles of it. And I expect the cycles, and I don't welcome them, but I know they're coming, and I know like when one is starting and when things are going to get bad, and I know what to do, but it doesn't make it any easier, you know. So still having grace and patience with myself as to what I can accomplish and how I'm going to feel today, and allowing myself to tell other people that, you know what, I really can't do that today because I'm not well. That's the things that I needed to learn. Here's Mr. Leo. And he's a good comfort. If I'm not feeling well and laying down, he'll just curl up right with me. And yeah, it's that mercy and compassion that I have for other people is really something that I've had to learn to have for myself. It's something. But anyway, there's my that's my talk about living with chronic pain and a digestive disease. I don't know who wants to watch this, but I needed to talk about it today for some reason. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Live and love out of the way you were created.